The Mountaineers have Jahiem White, but they also have Jaylan Knighton, Tye Edwards, presumably, Diore Hubbard, Cyncir Bowers, Kannon Katzer. The list goes on and on. Does West Virginia have the best running back room in the Big 12? We're going to talk about it here today on Between Years. What is up, everyone? Skylar Callahan with another episode of Between the Ears. And, of course, we have the man back in the building. It is former Mountaineer running back Eugene Napoleon. We're going to talk about some running backs today because, well, we got Gene on the show, so we've got to talk quarterbacks, or running backs, excuse me. It's also the start of fall camp today, so we're going to have plenty of content coming out for today, the rest of the week, and the coming weeks as we lead up to the 2025 season. Also, a reminder to hit that subscribe button and hit like on our YouTube page as well at West Virginia on SI. And also, since Gene's back, another reminder that the Walkthrough Game Day show will be returning for another season, and we will be previewing every matchup every Thursday going into that week's game. The first game, of course, against Robert Morris. So we'll have our first episode up of the Game Day show that Thursday before kickoff against RMU. Gene, welcome back, brother. How's it been?
Blessed, man. Blessed. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. And look, I knew we were going to talk running backs because I think I usually have you on every year to talk running backs because it makes sense. But like I told you before we started airing, I said when Eugene gets his hands on some of the film that's out there on these running backs the Mountaineers have, I think he's going to be a little amped up and excited. And look, we got to talk in probably 10 minutes or so before we started recording, and I'm telling you right now, Gene is excited to see what these guys have in store. So let's go and start with this. It's a very broad question, but can this running back group from top to bottom be the best the Big 12 has to offer? Let's start there before we start getting into some of these guys individually.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And we're being
the reason
100% unbiased with this too, by the way.
I'm saying, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
From going back and researching these individuals and then watching what they each bring to the table, right? In a running back room like this, you have the ability to go four deep. Each of them are talented. Let me be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, the top three backs that I viewed, there's no doubt in my mind, West Virginia probably has the ability to have not only the best trio of backs in the entire Big 12, I'm talking about probably, barring injury, the best 3 to 4 backs collectively in the country. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at, and we'll get into specifics, but one particular back, I'm like, ooh, oh.
He made us like, 3 times, 4 times.
I said, wait a minute. What I liked about this particular fella, after contact, you can't teach the outright speed, the top end speed, but after contact, this joker was hitting his head on the goalpost.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So that means after first contact, whatever, you're not catching him on an angle, you're not catching him in traffic. He is like, got hit, dodge this, top end speed, I'm out for like 65. I'm out for like 55. After, I'm like, okay, see, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different.
There's a lot of different running styles, I think, with this group. There's a lot of different body types with this group.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say a lot of different body types. I think a lot height, weight wise. If I say body types, you probably think height, weight, but I mean more of the makeup of the body is a little bit different. But let's just go straight from top to bottom. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're going to go with Jahiem White here, the guy that's burst onto the scene as a true freshman, really towards the end of that year. And what a lot of people don't realize, probably maybe nationally more so than locally, is Jahiem really didn't play the first half of that season in 2023.
Right.
He ended up with 842 yards, and I would say the majority of that came from the last week of October on. That is
Yeah,
insane. Almost averaged 8 yards a carry. Had a, what was it, a 200-yard game against BYU maybe? I can't remember exactly the numbers, but
absolutely. Phenomenal numbers. Phenomenal
what
numbers.
what he did as a freshman is hard for anybody to back up. Last year we saw as a sophomore kind of took a little bit of a dip in the per yards per carry, but you still saw the same explosiveness. And I think part of the numbers dipping a little bit was more on the offensive line play than it was him. I think the offensive line maybe wasn't quite as sharp. I mean, when you lose
Right.
Zach Frazier, that's a big part of it, right? So
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I think we're going to see, even with a brand new offensive line, Jahiem kind of get back to that 2023 form. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. The one thing I do think about Jahiem is by the time he's done in Morgantown, assuming that he stays healthy and that he stays through the end of 2026, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the history of this program. And I'm not just saying that as, nothing to back that up. Gene, if he has 1,000 yards this season, just 1,000, he's
Right.
going to be sixth all time,
Seven.
or
Sixth or
seventh,
seventh.
seventh,
Seventh.
right
Seventh all
behind
time.
Letty Brown. He has
Absolutely.
another 1,000 yards, he'll be in the top 3 or 4.
Let me tell you something about Jahiem White that I love. The Maxwell preseason award list
Yeah,
is he's going to be on the Dope Walker list. He's going to, yeah. Again, he's a young man that has the ability after contact, he's still going to churn out yards. Great vision, great balance, stronger than you would think for a back his size. In this particular offense, where because of the spacing of what they do up front, and because of the quick cadence of this offense, they're going. He's going to be at the second to third level a lot quicker than he would in the style of offense he ran last year.
yeah.
This fits his abilities and his running style perfectly. So barring injury, look, 1,300 yard season, barring injury.
And that could be on the low end of the projection.
And that could be on the low end. And I'm talking about barring injury. One of the most explosive backs in the country, in my opinion.
You know what this is
Yeah,
like, honestly, for Rich Rod, probably? This is probably like getting those Noel Devine years back that he missed out on. He had Noel
absolutely.
for 1 year in '07, which he was obviously behind Steve. But
Yes.
and Noel still went on to have a great career. But if Noel was in Rich Rod's system, I'm not trying to directly compare the two, but there's a lot of freaking similarities between them. This is kind of, to me, like Rich Rod getting those Noel years back.
There's okay. There's another back on this list, and not to
Mhm.
take away from anybody, but there's another back on this list that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
That maybe
That
even has those comparisons as well.
absolutely, and that's absolutely because what he has in terms of top end speed, you cannot teach.
Yeah.
So I'll just say this: you can't teach 4.3, bro.
No.
You can't teach it.
No.
Look, I know personally. You can't
I
teach
know personally because I can't run 4.3.
it. So, it's something that you're blessed with. And if you have all the other intangibles, like I said, the vision, the balance, the ability to set the patience, the ability to blocks up, it's a wrap. And this room, why I'm excited from watching some of the footage prior to doing this, there's backs on this list that have those things.
Yeah.
Together collectively, man, listen, and with a short yardage power back like potentially Tye Edwards could be, yeah, West Virginia, that running back room, there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. So let's we'll go on to the next guy, which is another veteran, Jaylan Knighton, coming in from SMU. He only played in 2 games last year, had an injury early on, and ended up missing the rest of the year. But started his career out at Miami of Florida. Big time recruit coming out of high school. Was
Yep.
a pretty good impact back there. He played as a true freshman at 209 yards and 561, 423. And then after 2022, Rhett Lashley, who was the OC at Miami, became the head coach at SMU. So naturally, Knighton followed Lashley to SMU to get that opportunity to be the premier guy. And boy, what a first season he had down there with the Pony Express. 745 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also caught the ball 13 times for 89 yards and a score. And then obviously last year, like I said, the injury. What are your thoughts about Jaylan Knighton? Because I think maybe a lot of people have forgot what kind of talent that he has or the caliber of back that he can be because he missed time last year. But again, when we're talking about top running back duos, top tandems in the Big 12 or nationally, Jaylan Knighton pulls a lot of weight himself too, Gene. I mean, he's 18 or 19 yards shy of 2,000 for his career. He's got every bit of credibility as Jahiem White may have.
And that's what I was like, okay, those two
alone are
they're creating their own potential Pony Express.
Yeah.
In Morgantown. And again, if Jaylan is fully healthy from his knee injury, right? That is a scary duo because they both can make you miss in space. They both have the ability to take it the distance. They both are patient runners. They both understand how to set up their blocks. And once again, in this particular offense, they are both capable of anywhere between, like I said, barring injury, you're talking 12 to 1,300 yard seasons out of these backs. And that's why I'm so excited, because if this is your, let's say, 1-2 punch, that's as good of a 1-2 punch in the entire country.
It is.
You pull up any school where you have potential, obviously your starter has the potential to get you, again, 1,400 yards. And then the guy that's equally as talented as he is has the same potential. And both those guys are going to share carries or whatever the case may be. That's a tremendous 1-2 punch. I mean, yeah. I don't think there's any other school that should be as excited as WVU could be or should be in the backfield, because you have two legitimate running backs that have played meaningful time and started at this level. Nah. Those two alone, yeah, for me, probably the best duo in the Big 12.
Yeah, I have them as the best duo as well, and I actually have an article out on this. And I'll put the link in the description of the YouTube channel. Ranked all 16 Big 12 duos. West Virginia had number 1, and that's unbiased. Want to know how I'm unbiased? I had Nico Marchiol as 13th or 14th in the quarterback ranking. So I promise you, when I say something, I mean it. I'm not just here to blow smoke up, people, the rest of the saying, but there's legit reason to be excited about them, because you have a superstar with Jahiem White, but how many teams out there that have a superstar type talent have a caliber starter or a starting caliber type of player behind him and Jaylan, like Jaylan Knighton, in case something were to happen, God forbid, with Jahiem? Not very many. So it's a great situation that WVU is in. It's a great problem to have, trying to figure out where to delegate these touches to. Moving on to the next guy. We're going to get to the thumper here. This is Tye Edwards from Northern Iowa. He's played at a bunch of different places. Again, this is a guy that we're not 100% sure is going to be on the roster. Still waiting word from the NCAA, of course, dragging their feet to see if he gets his additional year of eligibility. I talked about this yesterday on the show, but for those that didn't watch that video, here's his ordeal. He played at Georgia Military Academy in 2019, spent 2 years at Hutchinson Community College in 20 and 21, and then moved to UTSA in 22, and then the last 2 years at UNI. You get a year back potentially from JUCO. That's being floated out there. That's potential. 2020 was affected by COVID anyway, so that's a COVID year. 2022, he only played in 3 games at UTSA. That would be a redshirt. So theoretically speaking, he should be able to get the extra year. We don't know that for sure yet. So last year at UTSA with the Roadrunners, 1,012 yards, 6 touchdowns, and actually spoke to his head coach at Hutchinson Community College the other day, which I'll have an article out on that as well. But he says he's more than just a guy that can handle the short yardage and goal line situations. The difference, though, here is, Gene, and you pointed this out before we started recording, is this is a whole different beast because you're going up tempo as fast as you can, running plays. Can he adjust to that style of speed? We'll see. Thoughts on the big guy, Tye Edwards?
Listen, he's a thumper. He's a short yardage guy, and that works in this style of offense because here's the deal.
You're going to need him.
This offense is such a big, high-octane, high-powered offense. A lot of times when these guys are breaking, they're gone. That's because of the nature of the offense. Like I said, you got a quick back that's a 4-3 guy, a 4-4 guy. He's at the third level before a blink of an eye. And because of the angles, 9 times out of 10, he's outrunning these angles. So these guys are going. But if you get inside the 20 and you need somebody to finish off that series, there's no doubt about it.
He's your closer.
Edwards, he's your closer, right? He's your haymaker. That's the guy. You know, if we talking boxing analogy, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the sweet science of the combo.
You got somebody on the ropes. Time to bring in Tye Edwards, baby.
Okay, he's the right hook.
Yeah,
he's the knockout punch. But I like him. And again, I would probably agree with his former head coach that he can give you something a little bit more than just being a thumper. So could he be a change of pace back in a bigger body? Right? In this style of offense, he potentially could be. But I'm gonna tell you something. With the rest of these road runners, with the rest of these speedsters, with the rest of these elusive backs, he will definitely keep a D coordinator up at night trying to figure out if they put this son of a gun in here, we got problems. Because now you got power on the inside and they got speed on the outside. That's a lot to worry about.
It is. It's an interesting thing. And at UNI, he was measured at 6'4", 238 or something like that. The new measurements at WVU have him. He must have shrunk, but he's at 6'2". That's still a pretty damn big running back, Gene. 6'2", 235, 238 pounds. I mean, that's a whole lot of muscle coming your way, and he can certainly deliver the boom. But if Tye Edwards does not get the extra year, I'm very curious as to what that role or who that role goes to. Is it the next guy we're going to talk about, Diore Hubbard? Last year, he's a redshirt freshman. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but when he was at Gahanna Lincoln High School in Columbus, that kid was running rampant over everybody. I thought he was a big-time get out of high school, and I still feel like could have a really, really bright future in Morgantown, even in this offense, more so. Does he fit that role? I don't know. I don't know that there's another perfect fit for that Tye Edwards type role, but maybe it's Diore Hubbard, maybe it's somebody else. But regardless, what's your thoughts on Diore?
I like Diore. He's a good back as well. Again, I'm a vision guy because that was my thing. I'm a slasher. I'm a vision guy, elusive guy. So Diore brings a lot to the table. I'm not going to say he can't be a closer. He's a physical runner. But I think the fact that he can do a bit of everything, I'm not going to say he's just he's more than just a short yardage back.
Yeah.
Because again, if you look at his footage, he's another one that you mess around and let him out the back door, you might as well running down the field like, you know what I mean? So that's a beautiful place to be when he's the type of back that can give you that as well. So I think he's a little bit more. He's definitely not just going to be considered a short yardage back. No, Diore Hubbard can.
He's probably more of the. I don't want to say he's Jahiem White-esque, but he's more on that side of the spectrum than he is probably Tye Edwards. But
no, absolutely. No, he's if I'm the running. Look, I'm happy to have this problem.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got backs. that I can do some things with. I can mix some things up and be a little bit more creative in this up-tempo offense. So when I can turn around and say, okay, he can give me 20 carries. He can give me 20 carries. He can give me 20 carries. He can give me 15 carries. Please. you got to be pleased.
Oh yeah.
You got to
You
be
don't
pleased.
ever have to worry about this group wearing down like you did
Nope.
maybe last year. Last year it was really Jahiem and CJ. That was
You did
about
not
all you had.
you did not have this group of backs in that room last year. No,
Yeah.
they definitely overhaul. This is a A list group of backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here.
Absolutely.
This is an A list group of backs.
Two more backs to get through here, and we'll save your guy for last because I
Okay.
think that'll be a good way to roll this out.
Yep.
Kannon Katzer from Ferris
Mhm.
State won a D2 national championship last year. Ran for I think 90-ish or 100 yards in that championship game. Had over 1,000 yards on the season. This is a guy that I kind of when he committed, I'm like, depth piece back into the rotation, maybe special teamer, somebody that can develop and play maybe later on. And then I heard something from Phil Steele on In the Gun, and he told us, watch out for Kannon Katzer. I've heard some good things about Kannon Katzer. And when Phil Steele says something, my
Yeah.
ears perk up because that guy knows what he's talking about.
Yes, he does.
Very intriguing running back with Kannon Katzer. He's small, 5'8", 5'9", but
Mhm.
he's not the speedster that you would expect with his size. He runs, he packs a punch, he runs hard. In some ways, again, like the deception of his size and speed remind you of Jahiem. Not the same type of style as Jahiem because Jaheim's a whole different. He can
Yeah.
run away from you. Kannon Katzer maybe not so much, but the deception alone it reminds me a lot of Jahiem that way. But between the tackles, runs hard. I don't know. I don't know if there's a role for him in this running back group. But again, like you said, nice problem to have.
You're going to laugh at this, right? So you're talking about if Tye Edwards is not eligible.
Yeah, maybe this is right here.
Because here's what happens. People may look at his size and may not understand what he brings to the table. Watching his footage, he's a hard-nosed son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
He runs with some nasty.
Some nasty.
Yeah. So I like the way he runs.
Yeah.
My only worry for him would be in this up-tempo style of offense, once they get on a roll, a lot of times you will see a back that's going to carry the ball 3, 4, 5, 6 times in concession once they get on that roll. If he's the guy that's in there and you're on that roll because of his size, from the 20 down to the other 10, and you get 6, 7 carries in a row because of his size and his running style, is that going to hinder him? Because he's not going to shy away from a hit.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're his size, that I may have a little bit of a concern with that. But if I got you down there and we're inside the 10, and I need somebody that's going to finish off, that's going to polish off, that type of a drive, and I bring him in, am I going to be concerned that he won't be able to answer? No, because
He
of
gonna
his
get
running
you those
style,
last few yards.
his physicality, he's going to get you those last few yards. So once again, it's a great problem to have because you have a back that can do those things, and he's elusive enough that can break a 20, 30 yarder and leave the opposing defensive coordinator shaking his head like, I didn't think he can do that.
Yeah.
So again, Katzer it's a good problem to have. He can be in the mix as a change of pace back, and I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
No, absolutely not. I mean, like I said, the kid ran for 1,000 yards last year, won a D2 national championship. People can talk smack all they want on the lower levels, but that's still football. Those are a lot of
Absolutely.
kids that may have just got overlooked, under recruited for whatever reason, didn't have the opportunities to go to recruiting camps and get those offers. So maybe a lot of people will be regretting this. And Katzer he actually started out at the FBS level. I can't remember what school he went to at first. It's driving me nuts now. It's somewhere out west. Um,
Okay.
I think he walked on there, didn't work out. Maybe been Washington State. I can't remember exactly, but still, proven winner, production behind him makes a lot of sense why West Virginia brought him in. And now, your guy, go ahead and reveal it, Gene. Tell us
Man,
your
listen.
thoughts on this young man.
Cyncir Bowers. I went and looked at his footage 3 times. 3 times. And I was like, wait a minute.
And you probably weren't expecting. What was this? What was he on the list that I sent you? Probably like the 5th or 6th name on that list.
Yeah, something like that.
You probably weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't. On my list, I have him at 3.
Wow.
On my list, yeah. I have him on the list. I have him in the rotation with, of course, Jahiem, Jaylan, and then I have Cyncir Bowers. You can't teach 4-3. Let me be clear. You cannot teach 4-3. That's number one. He has special abilities. In this style of offense, can be very special in the long game, the short game, catch the ball at the backfield well, all of that, right? But here's the thing. I'm watching his footage, and I'm seeing this kid get hit and still have the ability to take it the distance. And that's showing me like, okay, so they can't even catch him on an angle. Let's be clear. You watch. I'm gonna give you a little secret, and this is funny, right? When I'm watching running backs play against opposing defenses, I'm looking at the angle in which the defensive players are taking. And if I got a back like Bowers that is outrunning the angle, that tells me that's pure top end speed, right? Mm-hmm. Now, how do you know if the defensive back he outran or whoever the defender is, this kid is a 4-3 kid? How do you know if that guy's not a 5 flat guy?
Yeah.
You know how you know? Because guys that can, and this is something for you. Guys that really know how to run, they don't line up and run straight behind the running back to chase him down. They keep the angle because they know they have speed too. They have top end speed too. So, and that's one to grow on. I want you to go and look at any footage when you see a great back that breaks a long one. If you see the defender literally cut off the angle and get right behind the back and try to chase him down, that guy, you know that guy, that's not a 4-3 guy. It's not a 4-4 guy. That might be a 4-5 or 6.
That's me running behind him trying to chase him down.
and you know why that is? Because that guy knows I just don't have I can't. That's how you can tell.
That turns into I'm just putting in my effort for the tape now.
There it is. Thank you. I'm watching Cyncir Bowers. I'm like, this kid, oh man. He made me say 3 times. 3 different times. You can't teach 4-3 speed, but more importantly, you can't teach vision. You can't teach balance. You can't teach the it factor that he has with the ball in his hands. He's a special talent. Now, I say all of that, and I have to preference that he still has to respect what Jahiem White is.
Yeah.
There's levels to this, right? You still got to respect the productivity and the experience of Jaylan Knighton. You have to. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you right now, Cyncir Bowers might be potentially as good as the other 2.
Damn.
He might turn out to be Scholar. He might turn out to be the best of them all.
If that's the case, West Virginia might be running for 3,000 yards.
I'm trying to tell you, dude is different. Look, that everybody has their opinion, right? Mm-hmm. That's my humble opinion. He is different. He's a difference maker. And I'm going to say it again. You cannot teach 4-3.
So go ahead and reveal your depth chart. Eugene's preseason, day 1, fall camp, running back depth chart. Let's hear it.
Me personally, Jahiem White, number 1. Jaylan Knighton, number 2. Bowers, number 3. Hubbard, 4. And that's just tailbacks. Now, if I'm talking about day 1 starters and Tye Edwards is healthy, my tail and my full would be Jahiem White, Tye Edwards. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I had to go, you know what I mean? There's an old formation. They probably don't even. They used to call the Jets used to run it many years ago. We used to call the Brown formation where they didn't have a fullback, they had two tailbacks, and that was the old Brown formation. If I'm doing that, then I got Jahiem White and I got Jaylan. Those are my two tails. If I don't have a fullback,
Yeah.
yeah. If I don't have a fullback, and then I got Bowers spelling one of the two of them. That's me personally. Do not forget, I said Hubbard he's equally as talented. So those would be my top four.
Yeah. I can't disagree. I may have Edwards 3, Bowers 4. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to play. And the beauty
Absolutely.
of it with Rich Rod in this system, like you could see some sets where you have Bowers and White in the backfield, or White and Knighton in the backfield, or whatever combination of two, or you could
Absolutely.
see a Jaylan Knighton and Tye Edwards in the backfield with Cyncir Bowers in the slot. Like you could see a
Absolutely.
billion different ways to get as
To get
much
them
speed on the field as possible.
to get them all on the field. And that's the beauty of this up-tempo Rich Rodriguez offense. That's the beauty of it. If you have this type of talent in your running back room, and these guys can be explosive in the pass game, which I know that they will be, you have the ability to get two or three of these kids on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
That is going to be scary.
And I think that this is the biggest, I guess, misread by everyone nationally about this team, because there's all these low expectations. And look, I get it. You have 74 new players on the roster and a whole new coaching staff.
Right.
Yeah, there should be a lot of low expectations. But at the same time, if this team can run the ball, you've got
Yep.
a chance. If you've got a average defense, you've got a pretty good coordinator in Zach Alley who's been able to do some things early in his career. You've got even more of a chance. If you just get average quarterback play, you're starting to put yourself in the contention for a Big 12 title. If you get average or better starting quarterback play, you're right there. Like and that's why I think a lot of people are misreading this situation, because they're thinking, oh, they're going to go 3-9 or 4-8 in year one because they don't have the players, they don't have the depth, they lack a lot of things. But if Rich Rod can run the football, which we've always known, that's the one thing he's always been able to figure out, right? He's going to
Absolutely.
get the running game going. So if the running game's going to be there, which it seems like they have the backs to do it, they just need one or two other pieces to fall in place to get into a spot where they're fighting for more than a bowl game.
I don't think people understand coaching brings about 2 to 3 wins just out of being able to coach effectively.
Coach,
Okay.
game management, play calling. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get, just because you have a really good coach and a really good staff, you're going to win 2 to 3 games a year just on coaching. Now, you couple that with some talent, you're talking about a 7 to 8 win season.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations right now, just based on the running back room, just the running back room alone, Scholar, I told you 8 wins. 8 wins just on the running back room, because I know, barring any injury, let's say if none of these guys are hurt, that output is going to be 2,800 yards just on the ground, right? Now you couple that with decent quarterback play. Decent.
Forget
That's
about
another,
it.
yeah. Yeah. And if your offense is clicking and your defense is playing decently, there's no way that West Virginia doesn't win 8 football games.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen in years past, well, maybe not the last 6 years, but under Dana Holgerson, right? They had one specific thing they were really good at. That was throwing the
Yeah,
football. With
that's
Will
right.
Grier in 2017, 2018, they were slinging that thing all over the place. They did their thing. defensively, they weren't great. They weren't a top 10 defense, but they also weren't what they were last year in one of the
Thank
worst defenses in all of Power 4 football. They were average, right? They were average. Having an average defense and doing one thing exceptionally well on offense gives you a
Yeah,
fighting chance. And that's what this
absolutely.
team could have if they get that from the defense.
Absolutely. And there's no doubt in my mind, I think West Virginia will put out a really good product, which will be a really good thing for Rich Rod and his new staff and this new roster of talent for year one. And then forget about it. Year two will be a doozy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting all
Absolutely.
excited now, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
fall camp. It's here. Football season's around the corner. We're officially about a month away from kickoff from week one against Robert Morris. It's crazy to believe. So that's going to do it for us here today on Between the Ears. That was your running backs preview kind of projection. Eugene's depth chart in there. We've got everything taken care of. You're going to be seeing more of this guy. Like I said, we'll have the Walkthrough Game Day show coming back starting the Thursday going into the Robert Morris game. We'll break down that game. Even though that's an FCS opponent, we're still going to talk about the matchup, what key players need to be talked about from RMU. So we'll pay their due there. And we'll also have Gene probably back on one more time here on Between the Ears before the season starts. So, again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Add West Virginia on SI. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And we'll be back on Sunday with another episode of BTE.